wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from the Caribbean. Wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from your number one.
Yeah, no power cuts in studio, and so we are back with a look at the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. Unfortunately though, a power cut played a pivotal part in the result of Tuesday night's eliminator as the Barbados Royals advanced with a 9-wicket win over the Trinbago Knight Riders on the Duckworth-Lewis turn method. Gerard Morrisili tells us all about it in this recap.
Trinbago Knight Riders feeling high off their win over the defending champs 2 nights prior, looking to capitalize on Barbados Royals' 4-game losing streak as they battled for a chance to continue with the competition. There was the usual trouble early on. Sunil Narayan bowled by Mahesh Theekshana with a third delivery of the match. That brought the informed Nicholas Pooran to the crease.
That is touch and a half, really.
Coming off a century in his last innings, the left-hander continued his destructive ways, smashing 11 boundaries, 6 fours and 5 sixes on his way to an unbeaten 91 from 60 deliveries. An entertaining match was twisted to a frustrating one with a score on 168 for 3 after 19.1 overs when this happened.
And the crowd, the fans will appreciate this. They've seen the struggle from Russell. Artificial lights just going off, so we will have a pause in play.
Both teams waited for over an hour, no doubt nervously so, as the cutoff time of 10:52 p.m. local time was swiftly approaching, which will mean a place for TKR in qualifier 2, having placed higher on the table in the prelims. But just before the end came, the lights were restored, making an 11:01 start time possible, with the Royals' target adjusted to 60 from 5 overs under the Duckworth-Lewis turn method. And from ball 1, the Royals were going. They did lose Quinton de Kock early on for 4, but his South African teammate David Miller had his foot on the gas. He scored an unbeaten 50 from 17 deliveries, crunching the penultimate over from Chris Jordan for 17 runs. And fittingly, he hit the winning runs, getting the Royals to 64 for 1 to win with 4 balls to spare.
That will be 6. Game, set and match. The Royals, they defeat the Trinbago Knight Riders.
You prepare for any circumstances. Obviously, if rain had fell or something like that, it would have been the same sort of instances where you have to, get up and be prepared to play. At the end of it, once the lights was on, and as we spoke, I was always ready and willing, to play within the rules and regulations of the game. So again, it tend to happen, and it happens. Obviously, they had a target of 60 to chase, and well batted by Miller there. Yeah.
I think it's a case of us getting lucky tonight, to be honest. At one point we thought we were out of the competition when the light started giving problems. But we knew once the light came back at a certain time, it's our game to lose. 5 over, 60 runs, not very difficult.
So, it's goodbye to the 4-time champions Trinbago Knight Riders, while Barbados Royals get another shot at a spot in the final, facing the loser of qualifier 1 between Guyana Amazon Warriors and St. Lucia Kings.
Yeah, and Gerard, wrapping up how it all unfolded at the Providence Stadium last night. Now, Guyana's Ministry of Sport provided a joint statement with energy providers, Guyana Power and Light Incorporated, seeking to clarify what happened at Providence. Let's take a look. All CPL matches at the Providence Stadium, Guyana was successfully powered from independent generating sets located in the National Stadium and not by GPL grid. GPL has been on the standby at all matches to render technical assistance to the stadium at all times. During the 19th over, 3 floodlights lost power, causing a disruption to the match. The GPL technical team on standby immediately began rendering assistance and restored power to 2 of 3 floodlights on the same circuit. The stadium's technical staff and GPL worked assiduously to restore power to the 3rd floodlight, which had a technical fault with the underground cable feeding power to that floodlight. A substitute cable was installed quickly to have this floodlight operational. This was achieved around 10:51 p.m. The technical team remedied the problem and the game resumed. Additional technical assessment will be done immediately after the game to avoid any reoccurrence. Lance, Mariah, how untidy was what happened at the Providence Stadium last night from your standpoint?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. You know, no one wants to see a game end the way that it did. And I sympathize with the TKR team and how they ended up losing the game, because if you're going to chase 60 from 5 overs, you just have to be aggressive. So the margin of error for them is much smaller than the margin of error for the bowling team, because you have to be perfect, and they weren't perfect. So things became easier for the Barbados Royals, and they took care of business. But TKR would feel hard done by what happened, because they had set themselves up based on their batting effort to be in a good position to win. But that was diluted by the revised target, which made things easier for the Barbados Royals. As the captain, Robman Powell, admitted, he said they got lucky, and it's hard to disagree with him.
Yeah, as you asked the question about how untidy was it, Ricardo, very, very untidy, because we know how the Caribbean fans get around CPL time. I've always said on this show, CPL is one of the competitions I look forward to the most, and I would not have liked to see this happen to any of the teams, actually. Any of the teams in that position, because even if Barbados had lost because of this situation, we would have had that same discussion, right? I hope moving forward, and we got that in the press release there, does not happen again, because Guyana plays St. Lucia Kingston Heights. And one of the things, Steve, you all know with social media, there have been a lot of memes, a lot of things trending, people making jokes and everything. But this is not a laughing matter. These are teams that would have prepped for these matches. They would have spent a lot of money. There are owners at the helm of this that have invested so much in this competition. So there are many losses because of something like this. It's not a good look. Fans coming out, I'm sure some of them would have left the venue. You have to think about that. Who's really going to sit in the dark for such a long period? It's not 5 minutes, it's not 10 minutes. And to me, it's just not a good look. This final of the competition is being held in Guyana. It's something also to think about. What if this had happened in the final? What if a team had done in the final? So for me, there are so many things I can get myself worked up about, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, we did reach out to Michael Hall earlier today just to see if we could get a representative from the CPL to come on the show and put more clarity to the situation. Yeah. We were told that they hadn't met as a group yet, and because of that, they were not yet in a position to speak to the media on the matter.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify that from my investigations, the point that was being made that the game had to restart by 10:52 or it would have been called off wasn't actually so. I don't think any rules were broken by an 11:01 start, based on what I gathered. There were no rules broken by the game starting at 11:01, which wasn't the picture that we had gotten in some parts of the coverage.
Yeah, but there are still some questions to be answered around that, though. There is still some amount of clarity required around the restart time, because I thought Mariah brought up a very important point in the opening as well. If you can start at 11:01, could you have gone longer? Why did it have to be 5 overs? So clearly there is a cutoff time.
Yes.
So it's just about getting clarity around what the cutoff time is. And
I thought that would have come from the broadcast. I expected them to let us know, because we're not the ones there and we're not so versed on the rules. But we're going to ask the question because it's something that we need to know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Are we going to hear from the captains ahead of tonight's game? Oh, no.
We have the play of the day. Remember, we look forward to that all the time.
We're not hearing from the captains. We're going to go to the Angostura play of the day from last night.
2 from 5. And he's gone over extra cover. That will be 6. Game, set and match. The Royals, they defeat the Trinbago Knight Riders. 50 up for David Miller. And what a finish.
There's a power outage, and it's a completely different scenario.
And this was the winning moment. The Royals, they sat, they waited, and hunted a victory against the Trinbago Knight Riders.
Yeah, Angostura player of the day, player of the match, David Miller. Let's hear what he had to say.
So obviously you've got no option, 5 overs to go and we need 60 and it's a once-off game. So, I mean, we've got 11 batters and we've got to try and use every single ball that we got. So, yeah, it obviously worked out well tonight and very stoked.
Very psyched.
Very much the case. Fabulous performance from David Miller. Lance's Royals advancing to qualifier 2, and they will face the loser of the match tonight between the St. Lucia Kings and the Guyana Amazon Warriors. The winner of tonight's encounter will advance directly to the final of the competition to be held on the 6th of October. That is Sunday. Lance and Mariah, look at the time.
May the lights remain on.
We're out of it.
We're out of time. The lights will go off in our studio.
No, they won't.
Oh, no, I have news. All right. Well, have a good evening. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. And, of course, keep it locked to SportsMax because we have that CPL exciting match coming up right after this.
It's how we play. Follow me then. Every man, every preach, every fight, every deal, every wicked, every storm. And the art and soul and passion, and the culture, Caribbean blood. When people come out all nation, in the team in a unification. When they don't from the second and